All right, let's look at something very, very interesting. Yesterday, I played for you. We did kind of like a review of weekend disinformation and propaganda about vaccines and COVID yesterday. And one of the clips I played for you was a clip of Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace saying on Fox News, hey, you know what? Natural immunity is better than getting vaccinated. So maybe it's a good thing if more people just get this new Omicron variant. And that was a clip we played yesterday. And what's fascinating is within hours of that appearance, she was on CNN saying, I'm vaccinated. Vaccines are great and everybody should get vaccinated. And it is an incredible Trumpian move of say everything about any issue so that whoever can find an instance of you saying the thing that they want to hear you say, speaking out of both sides of her mouth. So let's review. Here's her clip on Fox News over the weekend. Take a listen. We played this yesterday.
And one of the things that the CDC has not done, and no policymaker at the federal level has done so far, is taken into account what natural immunity does. And that may be what we're seeing in Florida today. In some studies that I have read, natural immunity gives you 27 times more protection against future COVID infection than a vaccination. And so we need to take all of the science into account and not selectively choosing what science to follow when we are making policy decisions. And you're seeing, I believe, Governor DeSantis is, seeing the fruit of that labor today.
Yeah. So Ron DeSantis is doing a great job. One of the worst governors when it came to handling COVID. Natural immunity gives you 27 times the protection. It doesn't. Maybe she meant 27% in one case if you were recently infected versus having a vaccine tailored to earlier variants. But of course, solving COVID, building immunity by letting everyone get sick is a way to have millions and millions of people die, right? We've had hundreds of thousands die, which is crazy, but we would have millions and millions dead. Horribly irresponsible comment to make. What on earth is she talking about? But then she goes on CNN and she says something totally different. Listen to this.
I've been a proponent of vaccinations and wearing masks when we need to. I've run ads encouraging my district to go and get vaccinated. And when we have these variants and we have these spikes, to take every precaution from washing our hands to wearing the N95 or KN95 mask.
Wow. This is the Trump idea. Take every side of an issue so everyone can find you saying something you like. And she's, of course, tailoring it to the audience. One message for CNN viewers and a different message for Fox News viewers. It's quite frankly like two totally different people. I mean, it sounds like two different people. She has to tell the base she doesn't like the vaccines. She's skeptical. What about freedom? What about just letting natural immunity give us protection? But then she has to go to the more moderate audience on CNN and say, I've been for vaccines from the beginning. I've been for masks, wear an N95, going above and beyond. And she can maintain the kind of plausible deniability that may suit her by taking a different position for each group. This is part of the Republican assault on reality. What should we be doing? Because at the end of the day, we can explain why she's doing this by saying, well, look at the audience on Fox and then look at the audience on CNN. But ultimately, these are conflicting statements saying we should be looking very strongly at getting natural immunity by getting people sick and having them recover. If people get vaccinated, your chance of getting sick is lower. If you wear a mask, your chance of getting sick is lower. So they're not, you can't do both. They are opposites, quite literally. There's a really good quote from the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, who he made this statement about anti-Semites. But if you replace anti-Semite with Trump cultist or whatever, it applies to what is going on right now. Let's look at the quote. So he wrote, never believe that anti-Semites will say, never believe that Trumpists are completely unaware of the absurdity of their replies. They know that their remarks are frivolous, open to challenge, but they are amusing themselves, for it is their adversary who is obliged to use words responsibly, since he believes in words. The anti-Semites, the Trumpists, have the right to play. They even like to play with discourse, for by giving ridiculous reasons, they discredit the seriousness of their interlocutors. They delight in acting in bad faith, since they seek not to persuade by sound argument, but to intimidate and to disconcert. If you press them too closely, they will abruptly fall silent, loftily indicating by some phrase that the time for argument is past. And that's exactly what they will do. They will say something like, well, I'm not going to split hairs with you. This isn't about point, counterpoint, et cetera, et cetera. Beautifully, accurately applies to what we are seeing right now. That was a phrase. And to be clear, because I know that then other YouTube channels will say, look at David Pakman saying Trumpists are like anti-Semites. I'm not saying Trumpists are anti-Semites, although some are. What I'm saying is the mechanism described by Jean-Paul Sartre there, which he talked about with anti-Semites, applies today with how these Trump cultists play fast and loose with what we would call the truth.